Greetings, 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 everyone. Thank you all for tuning in. I am Yah-Tay Keaton, your host of Female Barber Talk with Yah-Tay. I'm over here on TikTok going live. I'm unable to actually see myself. Hopefully, those of you who have tuned in on TikTok live, you're able to see me clearly. Um, I am Yah-Tay Keaton once again. Thank you all for joining. Let's get this tickler going for tonight's podcast. If you're tuning in for the first time, I'm Yah-Tay Keaton, also known as Yah-Tay the Barber Stylist. I'm located here in Columbia, South Carolina, and I have a podcast that I started earlier part of this year that is geared towards female barbers in the industry. So as I'm building and and sharing with you all my experience of being in the industry, other female barbers' experience being in the industry, those who are considering coming in the industry, those who have been around the industry for a while. My goal is to get their voice on. So if you know somebody that knows somebody who is a female barber or retired female barber, it doesn't matter. Share with them my info. Tell them they can, DM me if they like, or phone me at 803-743-2423. That's my business line. They can, text me, info me, or Yah-Tay the Barber Stylist on at gmail.com. They can email me. But nonetheless, they can reach out to me if they're interested in coming on the podcast. I come on every Sunday. Let's put that up. I come on every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So those of you who are catching me at a different time frame, I'm on 8 p.m. every Sunday at Eastern Standard Time. It may be me hosting a subject. It could potentially be a special guest within the industry. About a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I had someone outside of the barbering and beauty industry who shared with us the importance of massage therapy. So I do have individuals on who can share information as it relates to um, our industry, keeping us healthy, uh, keeping our bodies intact, because it's really a demanding profession. And not to say that any other profession isn't demanding, but I can only speak from the barbering standpoint at this juncture because that's what I do. But nonetheless, we do have individuals on that can bring information, helpful tips to our industry so that we can have as long a career as we can. To get into tonight's topic, it's actually going to be a three-part series. It's entitled, let me get the name of the overall podcast. I got tonight is episode 26. Let me just say that. Tonight is episode 26 and it's first cuts and big feelings, serving children with care. So that's the topic for tonight. This is part one of a three-part series on actually just it's really about grooming our young kings and queens. So let me grab that the title of the actual series for this. So like I said, it'll be a three-part series. This is uncut, unedited. You catching everything. Thank you all for joining in. I greatly appreciate it. I got a few people here on TikTok. So let me speak to my TikTok audience. So I normally go live on Instagram, and the plan that I have, you can only go live on three platforms. So I normally go live on Facebook, YouTube channel, and Instagram. However, Instagram has been having a few problems. So I said, let me go ahead and try to jump on TikTok. I've done it once before, uh, coming on TikTok, but I went separately because I wasn't sure. I'm still learning it. I'm still learning how to go live. It's a lot of social media platforms, y'all. But anywho, it's just so much to learn. And as the phones change, technology changed too. So nonetheless, I'm on every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the 26th episode. This will be a three-part episode. And this is part one of three. And like I said, it is first cuts and big feelings, serving children with care. I have about five points that I want to go over with you all just to share. It's for parents, guardians of children, barbers, stylists, whoever service children in the beauty and barber industry. I think you'll be able to glean something from my notes here. Give me a second, y'all, because I want to make sure that I share this. Um, the title, because I just came up with the thing. I tell you, me and my notes. Me and my notes. Hold on, hold on. Get now, get now. So I want to welcome those of you who are catching this live. I appreciate you. If you're catching this on the replay, thank you for taking time out of your day to replay this podcast. This is the 26th episode. I am preparing to give you all a three-part series of this here episode. So the first part is called First Cuts and Big Feelings, Serving Children with Care. Part two is going to be Beyond the Chair, the emotional intelligence of grooming kids. And then the third part is Crown Care for every child, serving special needs and autistic clients. I am a trained paraprofessional. I worked in the school system as a substitute teacher in 2 states, 3 different counties. I've also worked with children professionally, and I keep counting because I still attract them here in the barbering industry. But professionally, I work with children 16 years before I made the leap to go into barbering full time. So with that, I have some things that I share, can share, and do share as it relates to my years of working with children, from the school system to working with pregnant teens to working with at-risk youth, what they call at-risk youth. I was a prevention and outreach educator, which meant I went out and talked to children about various subjects, whether it be in middle school, high school, at a community center, a women's group. I would go out and talk to them about different subjects, relationships, you name it, decision making skills, goal settings, things along those lines. So even though I'm not working directly with them now in terms of direct care, I still do with my coaching, certified coaching, and all of that stuff. I still encourage them, support them, and talk to them. And I'm their biggest cheerleader. But nonetheless, tonight's topic is first cuts and big feelings, serving children with care. This is episode 26. And in this episode, we're going to explore the foundation of grooming children with patience, purpose, and professionalism. Yes, professionalism. So from the first visit to building trust in the chair, I'm going to, kind of walk you through how to create a safe and warm, welcoming experience for your youngest client and their parents. So for barbers, for stylists, anybody that work with children, this is a combination of my years of working with children and now me as a barber stylist, master hair care. For those of you who don't know what that is, I'm like a cosmetologist on the barbering side. So I'm under the barbering entity here in Columbia, South Carolina. I just got more clipper training. However, I can, do what a cosmetologist does just on the barbering side. Hey, Ladosha, thank you for joining. Greatly appreciate you tuning in. I'm trying to master this TikTok because Instagram is having some difficulties. So I'm streaming from TikTok. I don't see myself because I don't see the camera, but I got quite a few people that I'm seeing in the chat that have joined. So we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. So, like I said, tonight's topic is first cuts, big feelings, serving children with care. I have about 4 points, some great examples that I want to share with you all tonight. So let's go ahead and jump in. So some of the topics that we're going to cover tonight are how to set up safe and welcoming environments for kids, um, what parents can do before the first appointment, managing fear, wiggles, and distractions with grace, speaking to children in a way that builds trust, which is important. All of it is important. And the power of patience and praise in every haircut. And in my case, I do braiding, I do lock maintenance, I also start locks. So it's haircuts, braiding, and lock maintenance. All right. So those are the 5 points that I'm going to share with you. Throw in a few examples and just share some personal experience. But the biggest thing with this mini series that I've prepared for you all, and I still didn't give y'all the name of the series, did you? Did I, huh? Hold on. Okay, so the series is titled Serving Little Kings and Queens Cutting with Care. So, our first topic, our first point is how to set up a safe, welcoming environment for kids or children. So, with that, it depends on where you are. Oftentimes, you have places that specifically cater to children. So, you'll see them with kid friendly furniture, um, kid friendly chairs, barbering chairs, styling chairs. They're very colorful, maybe animated, um, kid music playing. But if they aren't in a setting like that and they're coming to you, um, I'm going to share some things that could potentially assist you with serving the children. All right. So, we want to use a kid-friendly cape with cartoon prints, bright colors, to make the environment feel less intimidating. When you put a big old cape on for the adults on a kid, first of all, they got to try to pull it to get their arms out of it, so they can see their hands. And then oftentimes it's really, really long for them, so it covers everything. But when we provide them, and I got some examples, when we provide them with kid-friendly capes, it lessens the intimidation, makes it more fun. It also lets them know that you're thinking about them. It's like going to a pediatrician office versus going to your doctor, right? The pediatrician's office look a whole lot different than a regular doctor's office, right? So you kind of get the point. And I'm going to share with you all some examples of some kid-friendly capes. I got a few here. So this one, you can tell the colors. It's kid, I won't open it all the way up, y'all, but you can tell with the colors. It got cats, dogs, bones, a little fish on there, paw prints. That's one. Then I have another one, unicorns. That's really popular with the little girls, but you notice the color is purple. You got unicorns on it, flowers, diamonds, stars, popsicles, but it's really kid friendly. Then I have another one here, lions, tigers, bears, elephants. Oh my. So we got a llama, a tiger, a lion on it. Still kid friendly. Got another one here, helicopters, boats, trains, planes. No, I'm just kidding. But this one has mostly aviation stuff. But you see the colors in it. That's very helpful and nice. And then, of course, we got our under the sea, or by the sea. We got sharks here, stars, bubbles, fish. You know, I don't see. Oh, there goes a starfish right there. So, capes is one way to make it friendly for them as well. The next example, tools. Keeping our tools organized and clean. Kids don't like to walk into a lot of chaos. I'm just telling you, they can make the chaos, but they don't like the walk into it because it puts them on edge, especially our children who are um, special needs or autistic. You want to make it feel calming and look calming, because we look with our eyes, we can, feel stuff with our eyes as well. They'll feel it. Just know that they'll feel it. When the space is peaceful, they'll be more likely to relax. So the next one is using a soft voice. Offer a warm greeting. I I always say, not always say, I kind of get on their level depending on if it's a little kid, grade school from kindergarten to fifth grade, middle school, you know, high school. But nowadays, you can't tell if a young person is high school, middle school, because they tall, you know, big as me in a good sense, but big as me, tall as me, but they're in high school or they could be in middle school. But nonetheless, we want to offer a soft voice, a warm greeting, and basically get down to their level when talking to them. I always ask a lot of questions. I'm always asking them, how are they feeling? Are they comfortable? Because oftentimes if something is wrong, or something doesn't feel right, the child won't say anything. So I encourage them to speak up. I encourage them to let me know if something isn't right. In saying that, I'm always minding their facial expressions. So while I'm cutting them or braiding them, I'm constantly reading facial expressions and looking at body language because that is very important. And other than that, I ask them, they ready for the cut? I talk them through, especially if it's a teenager, middle schooler, high schooler, because in a few years, they're going to be coming in getting their haircut on their own. So I want them to understand the language, um, vocabulary, what's a high taper, what's a low taper, what's a ball fade, what's a drop fade. So I want them to be able to understand that and know how to communicate not only what they want, but also what to look for. So upon the completion of the style, whether it's braids, lock maintenance, or a haircut, I hand them the mirror and we do a 360. So I'm showing them how to look at their haircut face on from the sides and back so they can analyze and check the haircut out. Sometimes I leave, I might not take the cut, do their shape up really sharp and ask them, do you see anything intentionally? Because I'm trying to encouraging them by training their eye so that they can see how it's supposed to look. And even with the guards, when I'm switching out guards, oftentimes I'm telling them, okay, this is a three, this is an open three, this is a closed three, this is what it does, this is no guard, this is how it's going to look. So not only does it offer them, understanding, but it also provides them with a visual of what's going on and how it's supposed to look, and definitely how it's supposed to turn out when it's completed. So that's our first step. that is very big in making the environment kid friendly. So as I mentioned, you want to use kid friendly capes. I showed y'all a bunch of them. You want to be mindful of your tone with them. You know, basically, warm greeting. Uh, Talk to them on their level. I ain't saying baby talk, but talk to them on their level. But then again, you might do some of that with the younger ones, like 1, 2, and 3 years old. It just depends. So that's point number one. How to set up a safe and welcoming environment for the kids. Just make it kid friendly, or do the best that you can if you're not in a space where it is designed to be kid friendly. The next point is what parents should know before the first appointment. With this one here, if a child is visiting me for the first time in the barbershop and I know that they're coming, I try to get the parent to bring them over before their actual appointment. And the reason being is there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of different noises, a lot of things that can stimulate the child. So, especially if they're meeting me for the first time, I would like for them to get to meet me, see where they're going to be sitting in the chair, potentially getting their hair shampooed, so they'll know what the environment looks like and feels like before they actually come in. Thank you all for joining here on TikTok. Greatly appreciate y'all tuning in. I cannot see you. Hopefully you can see me. Still working on that. This is my first time going live from the StreamYard platform, but I appreciate y'all tuning in there. So, as I was saying, what parents should know before their first appointments. Parents are a great first haircut start. You know, they are great with helping you, helping the kids get to the shop, get in the shop, get set up. So, in talking about a prep, um, you want to familiarize the kids with the tools. Like I said, I share with them the guards. I share with them, what's the difference between a clipper and a trimmer, how we use them, things along that lines. Even combs. There are different types of combs that we use, mainly all purpose. Some barbers use brush. I use a combination of both because sometimes the hair require you to use a comb so that you can remove the loose hairs, and other times, brushing is required to lay the hair down. So with that, um, use your team. Use your team. But the first example is show your child haircut videos. That's one thing that a parent can do. Show haircut videos. Now we got shorts, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. There are many ways that you can show a quick clip to the kid before they come into the barbershop or salon. Picture books ahead of time. I don't know if they do picture books now, but you might have it on your phone. Use Pinterest to show various styles. I know oftentimes parents and adults use those images to share with me inspiration for a braid style or a lock style once the locks have been retightened and they want to have a style. Oftentimes they use those things to show me an image or video for inspiration. It's like prepping them for the first day of school, basically. This is what's going to happen. You're going to meet whomever the barber or stylist is, and you come on in. So you can let your child bring a comfortable toy. Um, I have a tablet for the kids. It's even in a kid-friendly case that I use. And like I say, that's because I used to work with children. I have those things. I also have a Rubik's Cube. I have a mini Simon that I keep in my drawer. Most of them don't know what that is. And I also have a large Rubik's Cube. So I have the 9x9 and then the it's a 4x4, so it's smaller, geared towards smaller hands. So I tend to have toys or a tablet, um, and you could bring toys or a toy, a toys, a tablet or a blanket. It acts like a security buddy for them during the haircut. It's something that they can hold on to, watch. Some barbers don't like allowing the kids to use a tablet because they want to keep the head parallel, but I negotiate with my child. And because I'm used to working with them, maneuvering with them, I'm okay. The key for me is to get that first line set in. Once I get my first guideline set in, then I know my fade and the rest of the haircut stems from there. So I get my good guideline in. I work with them. Hey, let me get this guideline in first, and then you can look down at whatever it is. And occasionally I have them look up, but that's how I work with my kids in terms of their cuts. So they still get a great cut. I just work around all of that for them. So talk positively about the appointment. That's another thing parents can do. Say things like, you're going to look really good, or I don't know if y'all still use fresh now, but say you're going to look fresh, your haircut is going to look nice, or your braid style is going to be really nice. Don't be scared. It's the confidence, that you're setting a tone basically by providing them with positivity, sharing with them what's going to happen, how it's going to turn out. You're building up their expectation. All right. Next thing is, for me, as a certified life coach and life purpose and career coach, I know the power of collaboration. So, like I said, I work with my kids. That becomes very important. We do the same. Yeah, I work with them, and it's important. That's part of ownership. Them taking part in it. Um, and they'll tell you. I ask them, "This look right?" Because I want to make sure that they're paying attention too. What did I say I was gonna do next? To get them involved. Like I shared with y'all, one of my kids called his shape up a lineup. He called it space line. So I make sure that I say, "You ready for your space line?" Which symbolizes two things with him. We at the end of the cut, and he need to keep his head straight so his space line can be right. So I encourage parents to be a part of the process too, not just the appointment. So I encourage them to be involved, especially if they're little children. When parents come to me for the first time and the kids are a little wiggly, which we're going to talk about that next, I let them know it's okay. I'm used to working with children. Hence, I have cordless clippers, which allows me the freedom to move. Now, they're not, in my opinion, as powerful as the ones that are plugged in. However, they allow me the flexibility to maneuver around with children. Honestly, that's the reason why I started using them. Originally, when I started, I worked with plug-ins where we had the cord on them. But eventually, I made the adjustment so that I can have the freedom and flexibility with working with children, because that is a unique niche for me. Oftentimes, I shouldn't say often, some barbers like to work with children, some don't, because it requires a lot of time and patience, and we're going to talk about that too. So, getting into the next point of managing fear, movement, and distractions. Got wiggly kids? I got you. Have to let them know, it's going to be okay. You got fearful kids? I still got you. That's them not understanding or knowing what's going on. So I don't just cut hair. I read the room, as I said. I look at body language. I look at facial expressions. I even examine the communication between the parents, and I'm watching them as well as watching the children. because I want to feel the mood and respond with patience and even play depending on what the situation requires. And I also want to turn fear into trust, one clip at a time. Fear and the trust, one clip at a time. And ultimately, it's about building trust with the children, especially if it's a first cut or their first time getting cut by me. Y'all got that right. First cut, meaning it's their first cut or it's their first time being serviced by me, but not necessarily their first cut. So I give an example. If a child is nervous and offer them something like, do you want me to start on the left side? Do you want me to start on the right side? Give them a sense of control, which also lowers their anxiety. So again, we're getting them involved. You can use music. Oftentimes, soft music, kid-friendly music. Y'all might not know about Kids Bop now. Kids Bop, that's a station that has a lot of the popular music that is put to a kid's beat or kid's tone, and children are singing it. So Kids Bop, if you're in a kid friendly salon, oftentimes the bigger barbershops and salons play, I won't say traditional music, but they just play music for the shop in general and not geared towards the children per se. You can use that, show kids. Like I said, I have a kid-friendly tablet. I didn't bring it. It's in the other room, but I do have a kid-friendly tablet. Um, that's one thing that I have, and I told y'all that I have the Rubik's Cube. Y'all hold on. Let me go grab it real quick because I got all of that. I can show it to you. Give me a second. All right, I'm back. So I figure why not? Let's get this stuff together for y'all so you can see. So when I said to Simon, yeah, Ladosha says, thank you for chiming in. We do the same. Ladosha says here, kids still love coloring books and stickers. They do, they do. I don't have coloring books, but I do have these items. So this is a Simon. It's a mini version. And basically, many of them haven't seen this. So I tell them, you just follow the pattern. And then it gets quicker. So you have to, kind of move it. So this is something that's in their hands. Um, This is another one, Rubik's Cube. I had one kid solve it, and he told me, yeah, Miss Yah-Tay, there's some algorithms you can look up online, and it's math. But this is the 9x9, and the other one is in my station. It's a 4x4, which is about that small, and it's for the little hands. So I tend to use it for my kids 5 and under, and I give this to the big kids or give them this, give them their choice. And this is the kid-friendly tablet. See here, y'all, kid-friendly tablet. If y'all watch my series on what's in the barber case, this is what I shared. So that's their barber there. Y'all see that image? That's their barber. But this is their iPad, and it's set up for them. I took everything off of it, but I got Netflix, kids YouTube on there. I got a few games, not a whole lot, but it's enough to keep them busy. So this is their tablet. Like I said, it's a kid-friendly tablet that I use for them as well. So LaDosha says, when I want the kids to sit still, I have free crowns to crown him or her the king or queen. Oh, for sitting stillville. Okay, I tell them sit like a statue, but I like that. The sit stillville. Okay, that's all right. Yeah. So these are some items that you can use with the children. I'm looking at my notes for the wiggles and stuff. So tablets, keep their attention off the clippers to help them stay still and without stress. So this, gets their attention along with some of these other items. Like I say, many of them haven't seen this or even know what that is. This, yeah. But of course, y'all know they know this here. So these are some of the things that I use. Let's see. LaDosha says the love it. Yeah, they do. They love it. These are great ideas. Thank you. Thank you. I just got them small enough for their hands and I can pack them away and put them in the drawer and they don't take up a whole lot of space except for this. I usually hang it on the hook and plug it in. So it's always charged because I got a high schooler that comes in and he uses it too, but he uses to watch Netflix on. So I have those items. So next up, if they cry or move a lot, stay calm and don't rush. That's the key. You want to try to rush and get through. And I've seen some that's trying to rush or get through. If they get too emotional, like for example, some of my autistic children, I give them a break. They may need the break for 2, 3 minutes, but I give them a break. And I have one parent that actually counts down when it's time to get back in the chair. She'll count down. Okay, you got 30 seconds. Okay, you have 20 seconds. Okay, 10, 9, 8, and so on. So that helps them. But you don't want to rush the process. If need be, give them a break. Give them a break. And oftentimes it's the parent that's a little more, kind of, I won't say concerned in a bad way, but they usually get hyper when the child becomes too loud, especially if the shop is full and they're crying and whining, they may even feel embarrassed at some point because the child is having a moment. I'm just going to say the child is having a moment, but that's okay. Either, it could be their first time, it could be a new barber. They're not, comfortable just yet with that particular barber or stylist, or it's just scary altogether. They could have had an experience that they're still um, feeling some kind of trauma or trepidations about that. So, whatever it is, you want to be as patient as possible with them. So sometimes it's not about the haircut. It's about the experience with the child. That means adapting in real time to their comfort level. They're very, very important. For me, it's not a big problem, but for some others who may not have the experience that I've had with children and working with children, that might not be their forte, which is why some barbers and stylists may not do children because of that. Honestly, it does take some time to do children, and I can see why people want to charge more for cutting children's hair or even braiding their hair for that matter, because it does take some time, especially if their temperament isn't there and the parent want to have their hair serviced. So the goal is for them to leave smiling and not just style. So we want them to leave smiling and not just style. That brings us into how to talk to kids in the chair: language, tone, and eye contact. Um, I speak kid friendly, fluently. I told y'all I've been working with him for many, many years, but I speak fluently, kid. All right, simple words, eye contact, eye level respect with them, and eye level contact with them. Because I'm really tall, the chair doesn't go up to my height. Or to my chest level standing up. Most chairs, unless you get one that's specifically designed for tall people. But because I work in a traditional shop, they just ordered the standard chair. Anywho, um, eye level respect with them, eye level contact, and a tone that says you matter. A kid know when you care and when you don't care. Okay, they can feel it. So every word I say is as intentional as every cut I make, or every hair child that I groom. So I'm very very intentional, more specifically when it comes down to my children. I'm very, not that I'm not intentional with adults. It's just because of my long standing work with children, I instantly turn on. That's like when a kid is in the shop, or there are children around being serviced. Yes, I may be cutting someone, servicing someone, but my eyes are moving. It's just natural for me to have the eyes. Where's the kid? What you doing? What's going on? You hear a noise? uh, you know, what's happening over here? So, yeah. So for me, speaking to a child in a way that builds trust, not only builds them up, builds up their confidence as it relates to their style and the service that they're having done, but it also builds trust. So using simple words and short sentences, instead of saying, I'm going to taper your neckline, say something like, I'm going to clean up this part up for you real quick, and maybe tap it. I'm gonna clean this up. Like I told y'all with my kid about his space line. This not a line up for him. It's not a shape up for him. It's a space line. So I make sure when he comes in and it's time to do his outline, his shape up, I say space line. Okay. That's what I say for him. No other word is used but space line. So another thing is, always explain what's happening or what's about to happen. I gotta tell y'all, when I um, was in this particular shop, I had comments made about me talking too much or explaining away stuff, or um, just sharing too much information. Now, I know there is such a thing. Yet at the same time, the individual really didn't know not only my personality, know that I have, I'm just a teacher. I'm just a teacher. So I'm always wanting to ensure that my clients are informed, they know what's going on, especially if it's a child, and more particular if it's an adult that is seeing me for the first time for a service. I want them to know what's going on, what is happening, um, and even why I'm doing certain things, because they may have gone to someone where uh, the process is done different. You know, that's like some people fade down, up. Well, from the bottom up, some people fade from the top down. So I can do both ways. I tend to fade more from the bottom up because that's how I was taught. But even in that, if you get with somebody, and that's a perfect example, that has been fading that client from the top down, and then you come in and you start fading from the bottom up, they might be looking in the mirror like, what are they doing? What's happening? What's going on? And if you're reading their facial expressions and body language, you can see that. So then you just let them know there's more than one way to fade. And it sure is. Okay. But nonetheless, that's just an example. So I always explain what's happening or what's about to happen, what I'm doing. You might want to say with a kid, um, you might feel like a tickle on your neck, just to kind of break the ice, make them feel comfortable before the clippers hit the neck. So take, for instance, when I have a little child, which brings me to, I tend to use um, my good clippers for adults and my teens. Um, my next in line good clippers for my little ones, and then I have my Slimline Pro, which are sharp and they're good, but they're not as I won't say durable. They're not as sharp as my Cocoa trimmers or my Andes T-liners. So I tend to use those on the children. And my handset is also very light. I learned in barber school, clippers are going to do the work. So it doesn't make sense for me to feel like I'm scrubbing their skin off their head, scraping the hair off of them as if I had a knife on them. So I'm very mindful with the tension and how I apply um not only how I apply my tools to the head, but also the motion in which I'm moving, the ratio to, the flicking of the wrist with the clippers to my comb stroke. I try to move in a rhythmic motion. And that has come with me working with autistic children. I make sure that I have a steady hand or fingers on the neck or something, because I don't have a weighted vest at this time. That is something that some barbers use for their children who are autistic. They use a weighted vest for them. But nonetheless, those are some things that you can utilize, and these keeps kids from being surprised and help them feel safe. So when you let them know what's going on, or tell them what's about to happen, that prepares them for what's next, and it lets them know what's going on, so they're not wondering what's happening here. So that is part. That's our what fourth part. So I've gone over how to create a safe and welcoming environment. The second part, what parents should know before their first appointment. And then we talked about managing fears and movement and distractions. And I'm into preparing to finish up how to talk to kids in the chair, language, tone, and eye contact. We've talked about that. You want to look at them eye level, use simple words, short sentences, especially if they're very young, um, and just explain to them what's happening, what's going on. The last point of the 5 points is the power of patience and praise in a service. This is so important, especially when you're dealing with little children. I'm talking, I've had a child as young as 1 with a haircut. 2, 3, 4, 5, around in that age, preschoolers, not quite in grade school yet. Those children, all right? The real cut that stick is confidence. So with that, this is why every child leaves my chair with a look and a word of uplift. I told y'all I'm a life coach, a life purpose and career coach. So I'm always speaking life into my the children that I service. I'm checking on them, schoolwork, if they're in sports, they're in band, whatever it is. I'm checking in with them to see how things are going. If I'm seeing them and servicing them for the first time, I'm asking questions. What do you do? Are you into sports? What do you like to do? What's your favorite subject? If they don't have a favorite subject, well, then what do you like to do? So I am genuinely wanting to know and getting involved with them. in hopes that they'll be a return client. But more importantly, it's just a connection that I have with children from my years of work with them. So for me, it is genuine, even though it may not appear that way from the onset of it, because they like, "Oh, why is she asking me all these questions?" No, I really and truly want to get to know you and know what you like, what you don't like, what you're interested in, whatever it may be. That's me. That's me. Uh, Kids can tell when you're rushing. All right. They know. They know. But to get back to this point here of the real cut that sticks is confidence. Um, if a child is scared of crying, don't get frustrated. Oftentimes, especially if it's a barber that's looking at, okay, I could be on to this next head. I gotta, mindful of your time management. I got another appointment coming in. Um, it's getting close to that time. I've been on this cut for a while. They can feel your frustration too. So you want to kind of balance that. So if need be, like I said, take a break, especially with my autistic and special needs children. I take breaks with them. I encourage the breaks with them, especially if they're getting a braided style and it's taking a little long. Let's take a break. Work with me. Let Ms. Yah-Tay finish this. Let us get to a certain point where we can take a break, and we take a break. Breathe with them. That deep breathing. I got to practice on that, y'all. I have a pain management course that I'm going through because I'm dealing with some chronic pain. And we've been doing some breathing exercise, and I realized that I'm a chest breather, and I'm not breathing from my diaphragm. So I'm trying to get back to that, because before, all of these things happen, you know, I wasn't breathing from my chest. As a child, we breathe from the diaphragm. So I'm being mindful of being conscious of making sure that I'm inhaling and exhaling, where I'm filling up my stomach and exhaling from my stomach. Okay, so breathe with them. Try it again slowly. Patience help turn negative experiences into positive memories. So remember that we don't want the child to have anxiety coming to the barbershop, or anxiety when the parent says, "Oh, it's time for a cut," and they're like, "Oh no," and all this screaming, temper tantrums happening, and all sorts of stuff going on. So we want to be patient. Like I say, take a break, breathe with them, or try again a little slower, but be patient with them. All right. Celebrate small wins, like sitting in the chair long. I'm big for that. Helping them get up in the chair. Do you need me to um, help you in the chair? I give you another one. So if I have a child that I'm seeing, and I'm looking at the height of them to see if their neck, or really the upper part of their back, is going to clear the top part of the barber chair. I tell them, "Do I need to get a booster seat for you?" And y'all know what the booster seat is. That's that little seat. Sometimes it's a bar that they sit on top of the arms of the barber chair so that the child can sit on top of it, which gives them a little more height, even with raising the chair up. So I tease them like that. "All right, you a big kid or you a little kid? Do I need to get the booster seat for you?" And many of them like, "Nah." And then oftentimes, if they do need it, I tell them, "Hey, you haven't grown, you haven't reached that extra inch just yet. So Miss Yah-Tay is going to need to use that booster seat so that I don't hurt my back and I can reach the back of your neck." And I share that with them. And if I need to get it, especially with the little ones, I'll get them to help me. "Hey, come over here with me. I need you to carry something for me." Again, I get them involved in the process. So, like I said, sitting a little longer in the chair, letting them touch the hair, examining it, seeing how it is. Because at the end of the day, it's about progress, not perfection. So we want to progress with them, as they get more comfortable with you and become more familiar with the process and the environment in which the cut or the style is taking place. End with a compliment. You look sharp. You look great. Your beads look good. Your hair looks great. The style fits you. Something along those lines. Are you ready? You're ready to go take on the world. Um, Make it positive. Share a compliment, be genuine with it so they can leave with that feeling of accomplishment, that that smile. I showed y'all some of my clients. One of them was like, which means I'm good. I got it right. So, as like I said, as a barber and coach, I know this encouragement matters. Whether it's the first braid or an edge up or shape up or a space line, like my one client, I celebrate their bravery and give them the crowns they deserve. And like LaDosha said, she has that crown. Let me put that back up. LaDosha said, when I want the kids to sit still, I have free crowns to crown him or her the king or queen for the what that is, sit stillville. So she provides them with a crown for them sitting still. So that completes this first segment of our three-part series of serving our little queens and kings, cutting with care for them. So just a quick little repeat over the points that I've shared with you all. The first one is how to set up a safe and welcoming environment for children, make it kid friendly. If you're not in a place that service children, then use capes. I share with y'all some of the capes that I use. Um, that's one way. Let them see the tools and the implements that you're utilizing. The next one is what parents can do before the first appointment. They can show them pictures. They can bring them by the shop. In my case, especially if it's a first time visitor, a child, I encourage them to bring them by the shop, you know, especially if it's a first haircut, it's a first time service with me. I encourage them to bring them by so that they can meet me, see the environment, and feel a little more comfortable when their time comes. I literally show them the barber chair, show them where we stack the booster seat, show them where the shampoo bowl is, and answer any questions that they may have. And I also ask them, do you have any questions? Is there anything that you want to know? So that's what parents can do. And then managing fears, wiggles, and distractions with grace. So with that, you want to be mindful, observe body language and facial expressions. Oftentimes, children won't say anything, but you can see what they're saying and thinking by their body movement. So, the child could be nervous, but you do want to encourage them. You do want to acknowledge their fears, their anxiousness, acknowledge it, talk them through the process, share with them what's going on to kind of ease that discomfort. The next thing is speaking to children in a way that builds them up, confidence, compliments, you know, just encouraging them, letting them know how the haircut is, how it looks on them, the braids, the styles, whatever it may be, but also speak in a language and a tone and make eye contact. I told y'all I speak kid, and that's the 20 plus years of working with them. But nonetheless, I'm sure others do the same as well. So I speak kid, I speak their language. I make eye contact with them. I get on their level if need be to get them through the service. I'll just say that. And the last one is the power of patience and praise in every haircut. Confidence, confidence, confidence. Share with them how it looks on them. You know, um, they can get scared and frustrated, but you want to take a breath with them, give them a break, you take a break, and then get back to it. Get back to it. Celebrate the small wins, end with a compliment. And like I said, as a coach and barber stylist, encouragement matters to me. It really does. It really does matter. And that's how I lead with all my kids, no matter the age. It doesn't matter. I'm always paying them a compliment and encouraging them, and then letting them know I'm gonna check up on them. I'm gonna check in with them next time they come. So that's all I have for tonight's topic. This is episode 26, and it's entitled First Cuts and Big Feelings, Serving Children with Care. And this is part of our series for serving little kings and queens, cutting with care. So there's going to be another part. Stay tuned for the next two parts. I've already shared with you all the title. Thank you for joining. Thank you, LaDosha, for tuning in. If you're catching this on the replay, I appreciate y'all taking time out of your day to catch this podcast on the replay. LaDosha says here, these tips were great. It doesn't get talked about. I never knew how much I could have to cater to kids. I thought I was going to have a salon full of Beyoncés. Oh, if you like it, put it. Now, let me stop. But anyway, thank you all for joining. Hopefully, these tips have been able to support you. Great show. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. I just thought I've been dealing with children a lot. I had a little one that just cried so much the other day, and his parents was full of anxiety, and I was like, no, it's okay. And what I did in that instance, they wanted the haircut, and I was like, let's work with what we can get. I don't want him to, get to a point where he feels traumatized with this experience, because you could tell the kid was really anxious. He was scared. He was crying. But nonetheless, I was able to cut the bang and just get the hair out of his face and a little bit off his ears. I said, as he gets to know me, it'll get better. It will get better. Okay. It will get better. We just got to be patient. So I think my patience helped them to be patient too, and let them know this ain't my first time seeing this. Kids do it all the time. Some kids. But nonetheless, I hope there's something that you've been able to gain from this. Whether you're in the barber and beauty industry, or you're a parent watching, or just a everyday person that's decided, let me pop on here and see what this young lady talking about. Well, we've talked about first cuts and big feelings, serving children with care. And once again, the topics we cover how to get up, how to set up a safe and welcoming environment, what parents can do before the first appointment, managing fear, wiggles, and distractions with grace, speaking to children in a way that builds trust. And lastly, the power of praise, patience and praise in every haircut, every braid, every lock maintenance, whatever service that you offer to children, the power of patience and praise is going to get you through that service. And involvement. Thank you all once again for tuning in. I am Yah-Tay Keaton, your host of Female Barber Talk. I want to throw up here, if you haven't read my book yet, you can get it on Amazon. You can click that, scan that QR code, or click the link in the bio, and you can get your copy in 2 days if you got Amazon. If you have it and you're in the local Columbia area, hit me up. I'll sign it for you and get you your official seal because I am a well, not a three-time winning. I guess you could say that. Well, I won 3 medals in 3 different categories for my book, and it wasn't even a year old yet, y'all. Um, uh, Book cover design, first time author, and published with a purpose, social awareness. So that's about it. That's all I have. Thank you for joining. Greatly appreciate it. If you know someone that knows someone who's a female barber, a barber stylist, and wants to come on the podcast, share my info. That's all I have. Take care until next time. Enjoy. And once again, I am Yah-Tay, your host of Female Barber Talk with Yah-Tay.
Naturals.